Hey everyone, this is Cruz coming from the South Florida Center for Percussive Arts, and today I'm going to do the first of 3 parts of building your bag of tricks for Drumset. Today is going to be kind of the beginning stage, and then we'll move on to the intermediate and then the advanced. So today is part 1, just the beginning stage. Okay? Basically, what I want to talk to you about is substitutions. So when you start playing drums and you're figuring things out early on, one of the first things that you do when you play a drum fill on your basic rock beat is go straight around the drums. So it might be something like this. And that's fine. You can use your hands and just play 16th notes all around the drums. But one of the very simple things you can do to make it more interesting is substitute a different sound than just using your hands. Generally, we'll start with the bass drum. So what you can do is put the bass drum in any one of those 16th note patterns. Now there is an exercise or a philosophy called the grid. In mallets you use the term permutations, but basically it's going through every possible combination of a particular idea. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take basic 16th notes and we're going to put the bass drum in to replace one of the notes that you would use if you were just doing a fill with your hands. So there's only 4 16th notes, so you can either have the first one, the second one, the third one, or the fourth. So we're going to go through each of those possibilities, starting with beat 1. If you were counting 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda, 4 eanda, then you would start with beat 1. Then you slide it over to the E, slide it over to the and then slide it over to the So again, I'm going to play a basic rock beat. We're going to do 3 measures of beat and then 1 measure of fill, and instead of doing just hands around, we'll stick in the foot. So first I'm going to show you the basic pattern with hands, okay? And I'm going to loop it 2 times. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. So that's your basic beat. 1 eanda, 2 eanda on the tom, 3 eanda on the middle tom, 4 eanda on the floor tom. Okay? I'm going to slow it down, and instead of playing the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 with my hand, I'm going to substitute a bass drum there. Slowly. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first variation. Now I'm going to take the exact same idea but put the bass drum on the second note of the 16th notes, or the E. Again, slowly, 2 times. 1 and 2 and ready. So, for one thing, notice that I'm keeping beat 1 on the snare, beat 2 on the high tom, beat 3 on the middle tom, and beat 4 on the low tom for right now, just to keep track of your timing, your groupings, and to keep it all kind of balanced and together. Eventually we'll get to the part where you can put it on any surface that you like, but to start, just keep it nice and even and keep a metronome going and just knock it out, and then once the coordination is comfortable, then you move on and you start adding things and speeding up tempo. So now we're on to pattern 3, which is the and of each set of 16th notes. Okay, here we go, same thing in slow motion. 1, 2. So that was the and, pattern 3, and now we move on to pattern 4, my personal favorite, where we have the bass drum on the the 4th note. And again, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4 for now, but this is a pattern, at least for me, that I really like to use split amongst the drums, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. All right, pattern 4. 1, so with that one, I'm going to use it as an example to show how interesting this can be when you get it a little quicker and when you incorporate it amongst your regular beats, where you don't always have to play it just on one drum, but start to split it around. So I'm just going to play a little bit and then again use the last one, which is 3 notes with your hands and then 1 note on the bass drum, the Here we go. So that's just a couple small examples of how you can use one of those patterns, and you can use any of them where you put the bass drum to substitute. It makes a difference in the sound. It gives it a different feel than when you're just using hands. For example, if you're just playing a fill. That's great. Those work, but it gives you more options when you can incorporate your foot as well. Okay, so that is one way, and there are several that we will talk about as we continue. That's one way to build your bag of tricks using bass drum substitution as opposed to just hands. One consideration starting out is when you think about your sticking, your natural sticking, if you're right-handed, would be right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. When you substitute a bass drum note in, you should, to start and to keep the consistency, you want to keep the hands the same when you put the foot in. The rest of the hands don't change. So for example, when you play the bass drum on the third note, you still have right, left, bass, left, right, left, bass. So don't just play any old sticking once the bass drum is included, because then you're going to start confusing yourself. You want to keep consistency as you practice, and then you can start to go left hand lead and do different variations with different stick patterns. But to start, just keep everything consistent. All right, so use a metronome. Keep beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. And as you replace a note with the bass drum, make sure that the sticking stays the same throughout. All right, hope this has been helpful. Look for part 2, which is the intermediate version, and part 3, which is the advanced version of building your bag of tricks. And check out our website, thesfcpa.org, and of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the social media sites. And I will see you in the near future. Thanks.